The Gettysburg hauntings, America's most documented battlefield, 51,000 casualties in 3 days, created the most extensively documented battlefield haunting in American history. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, stands as hallowed ground in American memory, not merely for the pivotal battle fought across its fields in July 1863, but for what remains long after the cannon fire ceased. The mathematics of tragedy define this place. Approximately 51,000 soldiers perished, sustained wounds, or vanished entirely across 3 days of relentless combat. The concentration of death compressed into such limited geography and time has transformed Gettysburg into something beyond a historical site. It has become the most extensively documented location for battlefield haunting phenomena in the United States, perhaps in the world. The battle's conclusion did not mark the end of Gettysburg's story. Instead, it initiated a different kind of documentation, one that continues to accumulate more than 160 years later. The physical preservation of the battlefield as a national park, combined with the extraordinary historical specificity of Civil War military records, creates unique conditions for paranormal research. Here, unlike most haunted locations, investigators possess detailed documentation of who perished where, at what time, under what circumstances. This intersection of meticulous historical record and ongoing paranormal phenomena makes Gettysburg the primary research location for understanding how catastrophic death might imprint itself upon a landscape. Mark Nesbitt emerges as the central figure in systematic Gettysburg haunting documentation. Beginning in 1991 with the first volume of his Ghosts of Gettysburg series, Nesbitt develops a methodology that separates his work from casual ghost story compilation. He cross-references specific apparition descriptions with historical military records, attempting to match reported phenomena with documented deaths at precise locations. His approach transforms anecdotal ghost stories into something approaching historical investigation, where witness testimony can be evaluated against verifiable battlefield records. The haunting phenomena cluster with striking consistency at specific locations, each corresponding to areas where historical records document the highest death concentrations. Devil's Den, a rocky outcropping on the southern end of the battlefield, witnesses some of the fiercest fighting on the battle's second day. The wheat field, a 20-acre agricultural field, changes hands 6 times during a single afternoon, with thousands of casualties accumulating in that confined space. Little Round Top, the rocky hill that anchors the Union left flank, becomes the site of desperate hand-to-hand combat. The angle on Cemetery Ridge marks the high-water mark of the Confederacy, where pickets charge breaks against Union defensive positions with devastating loss of life. At each of these locations, independent witnesses, separated by decades, report remarkably similar experiences. Apparitions appear in period military dress, their descriptions matching specific uniform details that casual observers would not necessarily know. The sounds of battle manifest with no physical source: musket fire, cannon discharge, shouted commands, the screams of wounded soldiers. Photographic anomalies appear only in images captured at specific locations, often corresponding precisely to documented death sites. Witnesses describe these photographic irregularities as misty figures, unexplained shadows, or light phenomena that appear in the photograph but were not visible when the image was captured. The most compelling category of experience involves overwhelming emotional sensations that strike visitors without warning. Individuals describe sudden, crushing grief. Others report despair so profound they cannot remain standing. The sensation of suffering washes over them with such intensity that they must immediately leave the area. These emotional experiences share critical characteristics. They occur at specific locations corresponding to heavy casualties. They manifest suddenly rather than gradually, and they affect individuals who had no expectation of emotional response and no personal connection to Civil War history. Nesbitt's methodology produces several cases where reported apparitions can be tentatively identified as specific historical individuals. A Confederate sharpshooter repeatedly witnessed at Devil's Den matches descriptions and positioning that correspond to a soldier whose death at that exact location is documented in battle records. A Union officer seen near Little Round Top wears uniform details matching a specific regiment that fought there. His appearance occurring at the precise location where that regiment's casualty reports indicate heavy losses. The consistency of these descriptions across witnesses from different time periods strengthens the documentation. Individuals who report specific apparitions have no access to Nesbitt's compilations, no knowledge of previous sightings at those locations, and often possess limited understanding of Civil War military history. Yet their descriptions align with historical documentation and match reports from other witnesses they have never encountered. This pattern of independent corroboration across decades suggests something beyond suggestion or expectation influencing the experiences. National Park Service rangers, professionals who spend extensive time on the battlefield across all seasons and conditions, contribute significant documentation to the Gettysburg Haunting Archive. These are not casual visitors seeking paranormal experiences, but career employees whose credibility depends on professional judgment. Yet numerous rangers report phenomena they cannot explain through conventional means. They hear musket fire when the park is closed and empty. They observe figures in period dress who vanish when approached. They experience the same location-specific emotional sensations reported by visitors. Academic researchers approach Gettysburg as a natural laboratory for studying how collective trauma might persist beyond conventional understanding of time and place. The battlefield provides conditions rarely available for paranormal research. Precise historical documentation, preserved physical environment, consistent witness reports across generations, and phenomena that occur at specific, predictable locations rather than randomly. Researchers can test hypotheses, compare witness accounts against historical records, and accumulate data with a rigor impossible at most haunted locations. The paranormal phenomena documented at Gettysburg lack physical aggression. No reports describe attacks, physical harm, or threatening behavior from apparitions. Instead, the intensity manifests emotionally and psychologically. Visitors break down crying without understanding why. They experience sensations of suffering so overwhelming that physical departure becomes necessary. Some describe feeling watched, not with malevolence, but with profound sadness. Others report sensing desperate attempts at communication, as if something wants to convey information but lacks the means. Researchers interpret these experiences as potentially representing residual emotional imprinting rather than active haunting by conscious entities. The distinction matters for understanding what might persist after catastrophic death. Residual haunting theory suggests that intense emotional energy might imprint itself upon a location, creating phenomena that replay like recordings rather than representing conscious interaction. The consistency of Gettysburg experiences, their connection to specific locations and historical events, and their emotional rather than physical nature align with this theoretical framework. The phenomena show no diminishment across the 160 years since the battle concluded. The same locations continue producing the same categories of experience. Devil's Den generates apparition sightings and photographic anomalies with the same frequency today as witnesses reported decades ago. The Wheatfield overwhelms visitors with emotional sensations matching descriptions recorded across generations. Little Round Top and the Angle produce consistent witness testimony regardless of changing decades and rotating populations of visitors. Multiple paranormal investigation teams conduct research at Gettysburg using contemporary technology alongside traditional witness documentation. Electromagnetic field measurements reveal unexplained fluctuations at specific death sites. Audio recording equipment captures apparent voice phenomena at locations corresponding to heavy casualties. Thermal imaging detects temperature variations that move with patterns suggesting purposeful motion rather than random environmental changes. These technological approaches supplement rather than replace witness testimony, creating layered documentation that combines subjective experience with measurable physical phenomena. The accumulation of documentation rewards serious research. Each decade adds new witness accounts, new technological measurements, new attempts to understand what persists at Gettysburg. The archive grows rather than contracts, with consistent patterns emerging across changing methodologies and evolving investigative approaches. This ongoing accumulation transforms Gettysburg from a collection of ghost stories into a long-term research project examining how catastrophic death might influence physical space across time. Gettysburg's documented phenomena challenge conventional understanding of how trauma, death, and memory interact with physical location. The battlefield becomes a text that can be read across multiple disciplines: history, psychology, paranormal investigation, emotional geography. The same locations that witnessed unspeakable suffering continue manifesting that suffering through phenomena that resist simple explanation. The soldiers who perished there left more than historical records and preserved battlefields. They appear to have left something of themselves, imprinted so deeply into the landscape that visitors 160 years later still encounter echoes of their final moments. The depth of historical documentation available for Gettysburg creates investigative possibilities unavailable for most haunted locations. Researchers can identify not just that something happened at a specific location, but exactly what happened, to whom, at what time, under what circumstances. This precision enables testing of paranormal claims against verifiable historical fact, elevating investigation beyond anecdotal ghost stories into something approaching empirical research. Gettysburg stands as the most thoroughly documented battlefield haunting in the world, a location where the veil between historical event and paranormal phenomenon becomes transparent enough to permit systematic study. The same ground where America tore itself apart continues bearing witness to that tearing, manifesting phenomena that connect present visitors to past suffering with immediacy that transcends conventional historical understanding. The documentation continues accumulating, the phenomena continue manifesting, and Gettysburg remains what it has been since those 3 terrible days in July 1863. Hallowed ground where the past refuses to remain past. If you found this case compelling, subscribe to Vanishing Roads for more documented paranormal investigations from around the world. This story was created with AI assistance based on documented case files. All events reference real investigations and reported incidents.